Evening, everyone. Let me always check my mic to make sure that it's on and that it's up. Good evening, everyone. Lady Victoria here at Victoria School of Etiquette, where we still offer solution to your etiquette dilemmas. Today is Wednesday, so it's What About Wednesday? But I'm also going to add a little bit of Tidbit Tuesday since I didn't get a chance to go live on yesterday. But anyway, thank you for joining. And I always ask that when you come in, please say hello and let me know where you are watching us from. We are live this evening on my fan page, on my personal page, on YouTube, and also on Twitter. I think I should be showing up on Twitter as well. But anyway, welcome this evening. I want to talk about a couple of things. My screen is doing a little bit some of everything. Talk about a couple of things. Welcome to my page and welcome to my channel on YouTube, Victoria School of Etiquette, by the same name across the board on every platform. So anyway, I'm just going to jump in and get started on our topic for this evening. I wanted to talk a little bit about Black History Month. It is February 1st, so welcome to Black History Month, which many of you celebrate, many of us celebrate in different ways. And so let me talk a little bit about Black History Month. We know that we celebrate it every February in the United States is when we celebrate Black History Month. It started out being Black History Week in 1915, and this was in response to the lack of information about the accomplishments of Black people available to the public. So, our famous historian Carter G. Woodson co founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. And then in 1926, the group declared the second week of February as Negro History Week. So, it started out as a 7-day event, and now it is a 28-day event as we celebrated in the month of February. This celebration is again to recognize the contributions of African Americans in U.S. history. So few people studied Black history back then, and it really wasn't included in the textbooks at school. So prior to the creation of Negro History Week, you mostly heard about the accomplishments of Black people via word of mouth. It wasn't in history books and it wasn't considered important. Now, they chose that second week in February because it includes the birthdays of both Frederick Douglass, many of us know him to be the famous abolitionist, okay, and President Abraham Lincoln. He led the United States during the Civil War, which was primarily fought over the enslavement of Black people in the country. Many schools and leaders began recognizing the week after its creation. Good evening. Thank you for watching and joining. And when I'm on my Restream platform, oftentimes I cannot actually see all of the posts from everyone that might be sharing information. So if I don't respond to you, I will respond after the end of the show. Okay. So this brought national attention to Black History Week. So the week long event officially became Black History Month in 1976 when President Gerald Ford extended the recognition to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area in every endeavor throughout our history. So, Black History Month has been celebrated in the United States ever since that time. And many of us know that even though Martin Luther King's birthday is in January, that he's also celebrated along with many others. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about that on this evening. I have the rest of the month to shed some more light on some of the various inventors, the various inventors, creators, doctors, lawyers, the various accomplishments of Black people in America. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later this week. So I'm going to segue here to the other topic, which is my What About Wednesdays topic, where I always like to share a bit of information that you may not find readily available or think about how this information relates to etiquette at all. But everything in our lives actually do relate to etiquette in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We just don't oftentimes think about it that way because we haven't been trained to think about it that way. Most of the time, we haven't really been trained to think about it that way. So we don't. We think of etiquette, most people think of etiquette as something that is prescribed towards dining manners and personal manners. And that is true. But etiquette touches every part of our lives because it is important how we behave in society, how we present ourselves in society, the things that we say, the things that we do. All of those things play a part in etiquette every single day. So today, I'm talking about chairs. So, Lady Victoria, what in the world do chairs have to do with etiquette? It's a piece of furniture, and it is. Thank you for joining the broadcast on this evening. Please be kind enough to let me know where you're watching from, say hello, and please like and share and subscribe as well so that you can have all of the notifications. But chairs, yes, play a very important part in our lives. We all use them every single day. We have chairs for babies. We have chairs for special people, important people. We have chairs for everyday use. We have chairs for all different kinds of accomplishments. We have chairs for people that might be infirm in their bodies because we have wheelchairs, we have hospital chairs, we have office chairs, we have chairs for the dining room, we have chairs for our kitchen table, we have chairs for babies, we have all kinds of chairs. What is the function and the use of a chair, and why do we need them? The answer to that is very obvious. We need them when we're sitting down dining. We need them when we're sitting and waiting because we have chairs in the doctor's office. You have chairs in the airport. You have chairs at the train station. Usually, there isn't anywhere that you can go where you won't find a seat. Even in the public domain, there are chairs in the public when you're waiting for public transportation. If you're waiting to catch a bus or you're waiting to catch a train, there is some sort of chair there for you to sit in to bring you some comfort while you are waiting. I want to put a specific emphasis on chairs that originated the way they were designed long, long ago, and that is the king and the queen chair. Now, for whatever reason, I could not get my photos to upload. Thank you again for joining, those of you that are watching live. Um, the difference watching from Georgia. Thank you, the difference watching from Georgia. Um, you go into public places and there are chairs there available while we are waiting. So I was talking about the function of them. We know that they are there to make us comfortable while we are waiting. So there are different types of chairs. When did chairs originate? And when specifically did we start using them? Well, there's always been some form of chair in society, even back to ancient days, prehistoric days, days of antiquity. There were chairs there. For those of you that are familiar with your Bibles, we know that Jesus Christ, when he was on the earth, he was a carpenter and he made chairs. He made chairs, and historians say that he made the first type of chair that was high, that allowed people to sit up high on a chair that may have had a back to it, because oftentimes they use a stool, which is what we call it today, but it was their chair, or they actually sat on the floor at a very low table. But then chairs came into play and they came into creation where now they have backs to them. Your chairs can have an armrest or not have an armrest. It depends on the type of chair that it is. The chair that I'm focusing on this evening are king and queen chairs. Chairs that are made for the elite rulers or leaders in society. Those chairs have been in creation for a very, very long time. Some would say as far back as, oh Lord, um, far back, I think it says that 12th century, probably further back even than that, because when you had rulers and you had palaces and things of that nature, they needed a place to sit. And those chairs that were created for the elite in that they were very ornate. They were made very different from the chairs that we see today, and we still do have king and queen chairs in society today, and they vary as much in design as they are in the type of chairs that we have that we use in as functionality on today. So these king and queen chairs, I was starting to say that for some reason I couldn't get them to load up. Um, because I wanted to be able to show you pictures of them, but I'll keep working at it and maybe tonight. But by tomorrow, I'm sure I will have some that I can load up and you can see the various chairs that they how they look, the various types of king and queen chairs. Focusing on those chairs, they're usually not a simple design. Some of them are, but most of them are very ornate. They have a very high back and they have all kinds of decorations on the back of the chair, even on the armrest. The feet of the chair sometimes are clawed, like claw feet, bare feet. Some of them have a little ball on them. They're not usually chairs that can roll around, but they're made to look comfortable. But oftentimes when you sit in them, depending upon the make and the style of the chair, it may not be as comfortable as it looks. They're quite beautiful, many of them, and they're made from different fabrics. Some of them are made out of wood, some of them are actually made out of steel. Um, oh gosh, in old history days, some of those chairs were actually made out of the armor, the swords, the knives, the weapons of warfare that they used while they were in war. Some of those chairs were made out of that material, and I apologize that I don't have pictures up on this evening, but I will have pictures up. I'm sure by tomorrow. I don't know if it was a glitch in the system that I was using or whatever, but I couldn't upload them. But they're very very different. Some of them today you can buy them in different styles. Of course, you can buy contemporary, you can buy antique. You can buy chairs that are made out of wood. Not many of them, king and queen chairs, are made out of plastic, but most of them are made out of ornate fabric, velvet. It'll have trim on it, it'll have fringe on it. And the king chair differs from the queen chair in that it is usually taller, it is usually more ornate, or the style of it is that which would be befitting to a king, and the queen chair is designed as something that is befitting for a woman. But they are equally beautiful, they are equally ornate, and most of them have, I said before, a high back but a very low seat. So a person that's in the short people's ministry, such as I am at 5'2", if I sat in one of those chairs, I would feel engulfed by the chair because that's how large they are. They're usually very large, and some of them have a curved back. Most of them, again, are straight back, but some are made out of wood, different types of wood, different types of materials, and oftentimes those materials are in alignment with whatever historical date they were created in. So the king and queen chairs that we see today aren't just for heads of state or important people. You can go anywhere almost and buy a king and queen chair to just have in your home. You may want to have it at your dinner table. And oftentimes that's where we see a lot of them. You can go to any of the big box stores and you can go to some of the fancier stores to order them. You can have them custom made and custom designed just for you to fit the style of your home, the style of the furniture, the era that you want to create in your own home. So you can purchase them. Some of them may be as little as $300, but the ones that are really ornate and that are in alignment with the old style of the king and queen chairs, those can run you into the thousands of dollars. And oftentimes it's not a chair that you're going to sit in all of the time, that you're going to make use of all of the time. For those of you that may have young children in your home, it might not be something that you want your children crawling all over and laying all over. So it's just according to your preference and what it is that you are accustomed to, the look that you're trying to attain in your home or even in your place of business. If you have a joint business and you have two people running it, a husband and a wife team, they may want to have that in their office area. So it just depends. You can have it in your dining room, you can have it in your living room. Again, you can have it in your office. I've seen some king and queen chairs that were made out of various elements in the earth, tree branches and leaves and stones, bits of glass, pieces of jewelry were embedded into the chairs. So, when I'm talking about how creative it is, it's really in the mind of the person that's creating the chair or in the mind of the person that wants the chair. King and queen chairs. They also typify authority. They typify class, style, rank of the people that sit in them. These king and queen chairs came about and were initially designed purposely and set aside for elite society. And not just everyone in elite society, but those that were heads of state and those that were involved in politics. Chairs have come a long, long way since then. And again, they are still in style, but the chairs that we have in our home oftentimes may not be as ornate as that. And the functionality of of the chair also depends upon its design. We have another type of chair that's kind of like a king and queen chair, but it's more like a love seat. But it also has a backing on it, and the ones I saw, they had rounded backs and a scooped head, so that these are made for couples. These are oftentimes sometimes used for wedding parties, and it's like a love seat. And both the bride and the groom can sit there. It had lots of veil on it, coverings on it, sashes, and they're celebrated in that way to celebrate. I'm sorry, they're created in that way to celebrate the couple. So I thought that that was very, very interesting. So if you follow me long enough to know, you probably know by now that I'm a person that loves history. I love the origin of things, how things came about. What was this original functionality and how is it being used in our world today? We have high chairs for babies. We have toddler chairs, of course, with the tables to go along with them. We have dining room chairs. We have living room chairs. We have bedroom chairs. We have love seats. We have a complete variety of them, all kinds. And I said earlier that chairs are everywhere. And even before chairs were created the way they are now, you also had sometimes just a piece of wood or a tree stump that served as a chair. I saw another picture of chairs that were made out of old tires. And the way they repurposed those tires to make chairs was just incredible. If you didn't know that that was an old tire, beforehand, you would have thought that it was a beautiful decoration for that person's home. She had different styles of chairs. They were all created from old tires. Amazing the creativity and the mind of people, what we can do when we put our minds to it. So, back to these chairs again, we know that when a dining situation, that when you're sitting in your chair, it's a dining chair, and I always teach this in my classes all the time. Make the best use of the chair. What, Lady Victoria? I've gotten that before teaching a class. Make the best use of your chair. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, treat it for exactly what it is. The chair is there to help you with your posture, to help you to sit up straight, to put distance between you and the table, just a little bit. Your chair shouldn't be right up on the table when you're sitting in a dining situation. You want a little bit of space between your belly and the edge of the table. And the chair helps you to accomplish that. It helps you to accomplish good posture while you're sitting, while you're dining, while you're conversing. If you sit slumped over, that gives a poor impression of how you think of yourself and how you're presenting yourself to those that are in your company that you're dining with. But making the best use of the chair means that you're sitting up straight in it, If you can sit all the way back to it with your back right at the back of the chair, you need about this much space between you and the back of your chair. If you can put your fist there, you need about that much space. Now, after you're dining and you're just having conversation, you can relax a little bit more. This is making good use of the chair too. You see me scooting all the way back to the back of my chair. Let me bring the camera up a little bit more. You can see that I'm scooting all the way back, and my back is flat at the back of this chair. So this is a more relaxed sitting position after you're dining, and you can sit back a little bit and relax and still converse with those that are around you at the dinner table. If you're engaged in conversation, it's okay to sit up and away from the back of the chair. It's even okay to put your forearm, not your elbow, on the table. Forearm resting against the very edge of the table when you're having a conversation, and especially if you're speaking to someone that's across the table from you, you may want to lean in a little bit so your forearm goes against the table. The chair is there to help support the rest of your posture while you're leaning forward in that position. It's oftentimes uncomfortable to sit in a chair when you're sitting in it clumsily. And by clumsily, I mean that you're just laying all across the armrest of the chair. You're leaning this way, you're kicking back this way. When you're in the privacy of your own home, you can assume whatever posture you want. But in a public position, you probably don't want to sit like this. If you're out to lunch or dinner with your boss or with a new client that you're trying to sell on whatever project or whatever program it is that you're working for them, you don't want to assume this position, but you do want to assume this one, upright and attentive at eye level, speaking to that individual. This is the full functionality of a chair, not just to rest our bottoms in. And it does serve that purpose. But even in that sitting position, when you're resting in the chair and the bottom of your buttocks is positioned in the middle of the chair, not over to the left, not too much over to the right, but centered right there in the middle of the bottom of your chair, that also lends support to your back and to your muscles, all in the back area. So that's the function of chairs. What do you do with the chairs that you sit in? So I ask myself, is it your chair or mine, dear? Are you the queen or are you the king? Which chair do you use? And how do you use that chair to its best function to suit you? Just a question, food for thought on this evening. I am Lady Victoria with Victoria School of Etiquette. You can find my information here, where to follow me. Let me put it back up. This is yes, where you can follow me on Facebook, of course, YouTube, Instagram, and also on Twitter. And there you have my contact information on the very bottom. And I meant to run this ticker. I was talking a little while ago, but it's running now. I want to thank you first for joining me on this evening. Please like and share with your followers, and then subscribe to my show, subscribe to my channel so that you always get the notifications for every show every time that we are on. The ticker is running now, and you can see that we will have an event coming up. More details to come later this month about tea. If you are a tea drinker, as I am, and you love tea, look forward to more information coming about our virtual tea party. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get closer to that, date. Okay. And then if you have some information, if you have an etiquette topic that you would like for me to address, then you can reach me here at my email address, which is running across the bottom there. You can hit me up there with your question, and I'll be more than happy to address it. If you'd like to keep it private and personal, I will honor that. If you'd like for me to do it live, I can still do it live and keep you anonymous. If you'd like to have a personal one-on-one and ask me a question, just shoot me email that information there, vsetc16@gmail.com, to get your questions answered. Okay. So thank you so much for being on tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you that have taken time out of your schedule. And at the end of this on my fan page, on my personal page, and it will also be on my YouTube channel by the very same name, Victoria School of Etiquette. Lady Victoria is signing off until we chat again. If you're just joining the party, hey, be kind and rewind and watch the entire show. It's not that long, under a half an hour on tonight. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you the next time. Bye for now.